So you were born in the Nilgiris.
Yeah, Nilgiris is a hill district in Tamil Nadu. It's on the border of Karnataka and Kerala, in the western side. Northwest Tamil Nadu is the Nilgiri Hills, and Nilgiri Hills is famous for tea gardens. There's lots of tea cultivated in the Nilgiris. Basically tea, and then also they cultivate a lot of these temperate vegetables that don't grow in hot places, like carrots and cabbage and beans and peas and various things. So in this Nilgiri Hills, which is a district, it's the Nilgiri district. It is part of the Western Ghats, and the British developed. They were like Missouri was developed by the British, Darjeeling, Shimla. So they wanted a hilly area where the climate would be cool. Otherwise, Chennai and all that, the plains was very hot, and they were getting sick and all. So they found these hills, and they went up in the beginning, climbed up, and wild animals and all this. Somehow they slowly developed it, and out of nothing, and then they realized that the climate was suitable for planting tea and coffee. But there were people already living in the Nilgiri Hills. The natives, they were called Badagas. They were actually from Mysore, from Karnataka side. They were chased by basically Tipu Sultan's time. Tipu Sultan's time, when he was in Mysore area, that part of southern Karnataka. These people all ran away and went off into the Nilgiri Hills. And they became the original settlers of the Nilgiri Hills. And before them, there were also some very ancient people called the Todas. They are considered to be the original people of the Nilgiri Hills, but they were few in number. Some say, when you're studying anthropology, some say that they go back to Greek times because of Greeks. I don't know how. They claim that.
Sir, ko khane bhi do, please.
This is lunch, I hope. I'm not able to.
Now this is not lunch. These are snacks.
Oh, there's a lot of snacks.
These are called pakoras.
Yes, I know.
So it's
Yes.
Thank you.
So I won't be able to eat for 2 days.
Don't worry about that. You know, you can come anytime you want for some delicious Indian food, North Indian food.
Yes.
My mom makes tasty food.
Yeah.
Please have some. So you can just play with the mic. Just,
Okay.
and we can have a conversation.
Can I use the toilet, please?
This is. Please, I'll pause the record.
Chettinad.
Chettinad.
Yeah. It is very close to Tanjavur side. So the people who lived there originally, the other day I was watching something on television and I said, every house is built like a palace.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a business class of people called Chettiars. Chettiars. In Tamil Nadu, they are called Chettiars. They were the original people of that particular part of Tamil Nadu, which is called Chettinad. And they have their houses all built more or less in the same style, with nice big open verandas and a lot of woodwork. So in Tamil Nadu, you can get food in special restaurants. They are called Chettinad food. Yeah. So the hotel is called Chettinad Hotel. So pungency, they make a lot of their dishes. Food is
Spicy.
very spicy. Like you have vegetarian food, or else you have Chinese, or you call what is this North Indian they call Mughalai.
Shahi paneer.
Shahi paneer and all, but Mughalai restaurants, no. So like that in Tamil Nadu, you do find restaurants where it's displayed on the board, Chettinad. So it's Chettinad food. So you get all the type of foods that is prepared in that part of Tamil Nadu, Chettinad.
So anyways, we were talking about you. So your grandfather was a British.
From my father's side,
Your grandfather From your father's side?
Was an Englishman, yes.
Was an
British.
Englishman.
They came here as a group to Sri Lanka, I think,
Okay.
to work. I don't know, they probably, a lot of Britishers, already India was under British rule. So a lot of British people thought they may like to make their fortunes in India and come to India and see how it is and work here. So they came basically to Sri Lanka, and then from Sri Lanka and the Nilgiris, they were on the tea plantations. And they settled, and then some of them went back
After independence?
after some time. No, before independence.
Before independence.
Before independence. Some went back, some stayed on here only. They didn't go back. And then they married an Indian and they settled here. And they died here. And so my father's father was for my father's side, my grandfather was an Englishman. And he just married an Indian woman. So we are called Anglo-Indians.
Anglo-Indians.
So I was born, my father was on the railways.
Railways?
He worked on the in the railways in South India.
South India.
South India. During the British time, all these Anglo-Indians who were of this mixed blood, European and Indian blood, they were given jobs on the railways. They more or less ran the railways. All over, even in the north, Muradabad, Saharanpur, and Lucknow, and all these places. They have in the colonies, railway colonies, lot of Anglo-Indians. They were running more or less the railway system. Was basically the Anglo-Indians. They were running. They take pride in saying that we ran the railways. You see. Then after British time, well, a lot of them, they did not have, say higher education, all, but they knew. They were all steam engines in those days. The steam engines were
Run with the coal thing.
coal, yeah, burning at the coal. Steam engines. The steam engines actually ran until the early 70s.
That long?
Yeah, early 70s.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe for 100 years in India they were running on steam. Then slowly diesel came in. Diesel, everything switched over to diesel. Then for maybe 10-15 years it was all diesel engines. Then from diesel now they have all been electrified, which is faster, cleaner,
Efficient.
more efficient,
Better for the
faster,
ecosystem.
you see, and you have those steam engines now in some areas where it is slightly hilly areas, the steam engines, like I remember traveling from Chennai to Delhi in 1967.
67. That's a long time.
Yeah, 60 years ago, from Chennai there was a train called the Grand Trunk Express. Grand Trunk Express from Chennai to Delhi. So you got into that and you were 3 nights and 3 days in the train. And by the time you reach Delhi, you're almost, because of the coal dust coming out from the engine, it all comes in through the windows.
That must be really...
There was no AC
bad.
compartments,
There was
there's
no
only sleeper class and first class. So, you in the sleeper class, you're almost, windows are open and that coal dust comes out from the funnel of the engine. And in central India, you have to cross some mountains. You have to cross the Vindhya mountains, the Vindhyas, and the Satpura. All that is all hilly area, you see.
Yeah.
So the train is winding and going through tunnels, and there is gradients here and there in between. So in these places, the number of coaches also was less, maybe only 15 maybe. And they had to put double engine, one engine in front.
For 15 coaches.
Yeah.
The efficiency was not that good.
Yeah. Well, they did not have that pulling power, no. Not that efficiency.
Compared to
Yeah,
present.
that was the power the engines had. But they had an engine in front and one at the back. One was pushing, one was pulling to come through these mountainous areas. Today you have just one locomotive in the front.
That's
And that is flying through the,
that would do everything.
with 24 coaches
Yep.
at the back, you see.
Yep.
So they are more powerful.
Times are changing.
Times are changed,
Times are changing.
you see.
At a really amazing pace.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you were in the Nilgiris.
So then my father was on the railways, even in Tamil Nadu. That time it was Madras province.
Madras province.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since he was born in the hills, after working for a few years, about 10, 15 years on the railways, he was very interested in hunting. In those days you could hunt. You see, wild animals.
60s, 50s.
Yeah. 50s, 60s also. And it came up to the 70s.
After that,
Things changed. Hunting was permitted. And my father was interested in hunting. And so he resigned from the railways. And he went back to the hills. And started working in the hills, in the tea gardens, and being an assistant manager or something. He had some land that he inherited, about 5 acres of land, and they were all growing tea, and there was forest areas around, and there was hunting. So this is how our life was. We were cut off from the main town. It was far out of the main town. So then when we grew up slightly, we had to go to school. So then we were in a far out area where there was no school. Then somebody helped us to join the school in Kunnur. There were 2 or 3 towns like Kunnur, Kotagiri, and Ooty. These were the
Ooty is quite famous.
Yeah, Ooty is a famous place. It's like Mussoorie Hill Station. Ooty was the main town in the Nilgiri Hills. Then Kunnur is another small town where you also have the Defence Service Staff College, Wellington, that is called, and it's the headquarters of the Madras Regiment. Madras Regiment have the headquarters there, and there is a Defence Service Staff College where all these officers go for 6 months training. So in that Kunnur town, we have a school called St. Joseph's Boys School.
St. Joseph's Boys School.
Yeah. So they had a boarding, and we were recommended by, we were Catholics, Christians, and this school also belonged to the Patrician brothers. And at that time they were all Irish brothers. There was
In the 50s.
in the 50s. So somebody helped us to join the boarding. We hardly paid any fees, because in these Patrician brothers, Catholics were given. Catholics, they took a certain number of students, free boarders. They knew that they were from economically weaker sections. And there are other paying boys, non-Christian boys also in the boarding.
So you studied there until which year?
So I studied there from myself and my 2 elder brothers. Okay. We joined school. Myself and my second brother, we joined class 1 in 57. My elder brother did not have any schooling, but he joined in class 4.
Okay.
And then I studied there up to class 10. We had class 11 in those days. In the schools it was only up to class 11.
Okay. Then that was inter.
Yeah.
Then university.
Yeah. Then after that, even in St. George's, senior Cambridge was up to class 11 only. Senior Cambridge was not to class 12. It was only up to class 11. But we had a Tamil Nadu board. It was called Anglo-Indian Board of Tamil Nadu. Not senior Cambridge. It's a different board. So I did that board up to class 11. Even senior Cambridge was up to class 11. But that was a different board. Okay. That was an all India board, senior Cambridge.
The CBSE.
It was called the senior Cambridge.
Okay.
It was called senior Cambridge. Even St. Mary's Academy was senior Cambridge.
It was founded in 1957, I guess.
52.
52.
So they were doing senior Cambridge. Mount St. Mary's, which was started in 62.
In Delhi.
62 or 63, they were also doing senior Cambridge. Then St. Joseph's Academy, Dehradun, they were all doing the senior Cambridge. But I did this class 11, Tamil Nadu board. And then coming from a Christian background, you see, we have this that you can dedicate your life to follow Jesus by not marrying and joining a society whereby you can be of service to others, and also living this life
With a meaning.
with a meaning under certain rules and regulations.
Governed by the
you'll
board
you'll
of
get
Christian church.
you'll get more time for to perform spiritual exercises, and by serving others you will lead a good life. You lead a good life and a spiritual life, and commit yourself to following Jesus' teaching and principles of life to serve others. So we were taught about these things from childhood onwards. So there are priests, brothers and sisters in the Christian organization where we voluntarily give up marriage. Not that anybody is forcing you. I chose to become a brother. I like this. I have seen the other brothers in the school there living, and they were examples of discipline, orderliness, sacrifice, and at the same time, a meaningful life.
Meaningful
You
life.
see,
Yep.
it's a sort of a calling, and then you feel attracted towards it. Of course, majority of us are attracted to married life.
Yep.
That is biologically is there,
Yep.
but to give it up for something,
You have to sacrifice
yeah.
that
Ah.
for something that has even greater meaning
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
And that resulted in, I guess, lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of lives made. You
Yeah.
thought, I guess, I don't know. We cannot literally estimate.
yes,
Can you estimate how many students did you taught in your career right now until now?
some thousands, I guess.
Lakhs. Thousands is
I don't know, but
lakhs.
thousands.
But anyways, so
So then I decided to. There are so many societies like us, different societies.
in the Christian
In the
church,
in the Catholic Church.
in the Catholic church.
You see, somebody starts that and says, you come, somebody started, some person who was a spiritual minded person said, we will do this kind of work, we will run schools, and we'll be basically teachers.
So-
Some other society will say, we will run hospitals.
Okay.
And there are hospital of brothers where they mainly run hospitals, and the brothers are there also are qualified as nurses.
One of the hospitals is in route between Meerut to Muzaffarnagar. I can't remember the name, but one of
Maybe
the
run by sisters.
run by sisters.
Yeah,
It's run by
sisters. So mainly sisters are running hospitals, but there are a few men also.
So there are associations or societies made for schools, hospitals,
Yeah,
and what else?
social work,
Social work.
Then colleges also there are.
In our school, we had an EWS society.
Yeah.
Then
No, that is SUPW.
SUPW.
That is the students had to do something.
No. In St. Mary's, we had a different kind of approach. It's called evening classes. It is supported by the EWS Society. And there, the kids, from the slums areas of Meerut
Okay.
are brought, and they are taught about Christianity, and they're given basic education, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know under which year they are given that kind of education. But it's really amazing, we need that kind of thing in the world. And
Well, these children now brought not to teach them about Christianity. Now, our school in Delhi, Mount St. Mary School, next to it there is a village. So it's called Jareda Gaon.
Jarida.
And there are a lot of children there, whose parents are sweepers and this and that and all. Children running around, they don't have a proper place to play. And in the evening time, they are studying in some schools, some Hindi
सॉरी
medium.
सर, मुझे बता देना चाहिए था कि चटनी तीखी है.
Yeah. Basically, it is to work out your own as a spiritual life. You see, in Christianity, we believe that you have to lead a good life and try and get closer to Jesus. And you don't have to convert people, like in all our schools. So, like in Delhi, these children, they have no place to play. So, in the evening, after the school is over, school is closed, these children are rounded up.
Okay.
And we have appointed 2 or 3 teachers for them. And they are brought into the school and they sit in the classroom. They do their homework. Teacher supervises them. And then they go to the ground and they play some games and this and that.
So you joined the Brotherhood in which year?
I after doing my class 10,
Class 10.
then I decided that I will try out whether this life is suitable for me or not.
So in the 60s?
Yeah, 66.
66.
So then 67 I went to and stayed in a hostel where there were students like me. And there was a school nearby that was also a patrician school. So we were all staying in one hostel and we were specially looked after. And we were doing our class 11. Then after we finished our class 11, if I thought, some fellows said, no, I don't think this life is suitable for me, they went away. But 6 of us, we had to come to Dehradun. Clementown, there was one institute where there was one brother, and we had to study about the brother's life.
Okay.
Why we are, what we are supposed to do in this life, and we are supposed to take 3 promises. That is a vow of poverty, chastity, and obedience.
Okay.
After 1 year, what are the implications?
So what
this?
explain the vows.
So vow means it's a solemn promise.
It's
A solemn promise to God and to the people, our witnesses, that you are giving up marriage.
Giving up marriage.
Giving up marriage.
First.
And everything is associated with marriage. So, in other words, you will not have sexual relationship.
Okay.
Out of choice.
Okay. Out of choice.
Out of choice.
Out of choice.
That you won't get married. So you want to have a family.
Yep.
You see, so then we all live together. Now, if I don't have a family, I can go. If I'm told go there, I can go there. If I'm told you transfer to this place, I can go there. Because I don't have to, I have no family.
Yep.
You see, if I'm a family man, I have to look after my wife. I have to look after my
But
children.
if you don't have a family, you have
I'm
a
a
lot
free-
of people to look after.
I'm a free man.
Yep.
See,
Yep.
so I can be free, and it's a life that some people can't understand how, because biologically speaking, we are sexual beings.
Primal
Yeah,
beings.
to give up that attraction towards the opposite sex, unless something greater, something else must fill in that vacuum. You can't be a vacuum. So you give it up, and you're trying to follow Jesus. Jesus also did not marry.
Okay.
Because he can say, so we have tried to follow Jesus, and so we come to Clementown, take this vow of chastity. That means you will avoid all sexual relationship that is permitted in marriage, and no family. But you are expected to be a happy person and a fulfilled person if you live with certain discipline and following certain rules.
Basically, if you have spirituality, if you
yeah.
have that value structure, and
Yeah,
that
but-
value structure will,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Value
that-
structure, and then something, the love of Jesus has to be there. I feel you are giving it up for Jesus' sake. So then Jesus has to fill your mind and your thinking, and you're growing closer to Jesus. You're understanding Him better. And for the sisters, they consider themselves as bridegroom of Jesus.
Okay. Bridegroom of Jesus. Okay.
So they are supposed to be the bride and Jesus is the groom.
Okay.
That's how they're supposed to look at it. So they give up their life.
So if they look it that way, that will make it easier for them to create that value structure.
Ah,
Okay. And so you gave up marriage. the second vow was
Then vow of poverty.
poverty.
Poverty means you won't be attached to material things.
You won't be materialistic.
You won't be attached,
Attached.
and you will be satisfied and happy with the basic minimum.
Okay.
What is your necessity?
Okay. So
The society will provide you with food and lodging, and with what you think you need for living up a proper life, a common life. We all lead a common life. We have common food. If somebody is unwell and if he needs something special, it's provided. But others, we have common life. We all live the same life, whether you're a principal or an ordinary brother or your vice principal, headmaster. We are all living together as a family.
okay.
So the vow of poverty is you give up ownership of things,
Ownership of things.
and you're not looking for all the latest and the best of material things.
Yeah.
You see, like some of these sadhus,
Yep.
they have the basic.
Just the basics.
See? So that is vow of poverty, that I don't have ownership.
So in that pursuit, you had to give up your family too, right? Your family inheritance, all that to your. I
You have to
guess-
give it up here. You have to give it to your brothers, or
Okay.
you're allowed when you decide to become a brother, you have to write out what is going to happen to your inheritance.
Okay. As a will kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you.
As a will.
That's a big sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's a big sacrifice. Anyways, then the third vow is
Third vow is one of obedience.
obedience.
Obedience means you see, we are all coming from different backgrounds, and background means Keralites, Tamils, Anglo-Indians, Mangaloreans, North Indians, all different backgrounds. But what is binding us is our vision that Christianity, Jesus Christ, He's the one who's binding us. And as followers of Jesus, we are coming together. Now, and then we are structured. You see, now we will have now, for example, in Meerut now, we are about 5 of us. One brother is unwell; he's on wheelchair.
I've met him.
Yeah.
He's brother
Brother Anthony,
Anthony. Okay.
he's been unwell for the last 4 or 5 years. He's a Maharashtrian,
Okay.
so he's looked after. He's provided his needs and he's looked after. And then there's another brother also. He's about 73 years old. He's from Bihar side. He was one of the first persons from Bihar who joined us.
Okay.
So he was well. His job is to go around and visit a lot of these Catholic schools, Christian schools, and where the churches are, and try to talk to the students. Students are studying in grade 10 or 11 about our life, and if they would like to join us.
Okay.
So that is his job.
So you can actually do that.
Yes.
Like if you're not a Christian, that doesn't matter.
No, you have to be a Christian.
You have to be a Christian. And if someone is born in any other religion, let's say Muslim or let's say Hindu,
Yeah.
and they want to, become a Christian and join the brotherhood and basically give up all these three things, take these vows and join the Christian community and become a brother or a sister or whatever.
There are. But first you must
ways.
be. What is binding us is our Christian faith. So a Hindu, first and foremost, he must become a Christian. Then, if he values that Christian belief and principles and various things, and then if he values this way of life in Christianity, of giving up marriage and being ourselves, like take for example, Mother Teresa's, the one who followed her,
Okay.
who came after her, was one sister Nirmala. She was a Hindu. She's from Nepal. She was a student of Mother Teresa.
Teresa.
And then she was attracted towards Mother Teresa so much, you see. And then she became a Christian. And then after becoming a Christian, she became a disciple of Mother Teresa. and then she became she held the highest post in that order.
Okay.
Ah,
That's amazing.
her name was Sister Nirmala.
That's amazing.
She was a Nepalese, a Hindu woman.
Originally Hindu,
Hindu.
converted to Christianity
Became-
because of the faith.
Because of yes.
Yep.
And then joined Mother Teresa, and then she, after Mother Teresa died, you have to have a leader. So the topmost leader in our society is called a superior general. Just as you have the general of the army.
Okay.
General, we have a superior general, we refer to. So he's the man, the topmost man. He represents our society. Then we have what we call provinces, like India is a province. There are a lot of schools in India, and all the Indian brothers, they will form a province. And they will have a provincial. They have another leader in India called a provincial. He's a leader of India, all the brothers. And he will have about 4 assistants with him.
4 assistants.
Ah.
That's
So-
what Daniel Delaney did. He
Well,
appointed 4 brothers, right?
Yeah, he started off with 4 brothers who joined him. Then later on, more of them came. But we have in our leadership in India, we have the provincial, and we have 4 people who are part of his council. So these 4 people, they sit together and they decide this school, so-and-so person will be principal there, and these brothers will work there. Then another school we have somewhere else. These brothers and the principal, and they will work there. So they have to.
So
this is a structure.
So in the starting, when you were starting out, when you recently joined the faith, you were sent to St. George's College.
Yeah.
You stayed there for how many years?
Yeah, I was there for 4 years, 5 years.
4-5 years.
Yeah, I was a new person, and I was just doing the lowermost type of work. There was a principal, of course, who was teaching and administrating. I had no administrative job. I was fully involved with the students. But I was a brother. So I get no salary. I get my food. And whatever I require, there is one person there among the brothers. He is called the community leader.
Community leader.
If I want anything, I go to him.
Okay.
Any requirement, then he will.
So the society is very structured.
Yeah, structured.
Okay.
Structured.
That we need
So, yeah.
structure.
So I will go to him and ask him. I require some money. I need a pair of shoes, or I may not have a wristwatch. I'd like to have a wristwatch. So you will, okay, he may ask how much you need. So now if I am a sincere person, and a person who has joined meaning in this, I will buy an average. I won't go for a most expensive thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Money is available. I won't buy the most expensive things. I won't have the best type of suits. I live like the teachers are living.
A minimalist
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, middle class person. I live
Middle
a
class
simple life, and with bare minimum. That will give you happiness when you have the bare minimum. Instead of buying all expensive.
Today we are like beyond
So
materialistic.
the urge is there to collect more and more things and to have the best of things. And among the brothers also you will find some brother having less, some brother having expensive things. You see, so it's each individual's responsibility. Now I have joined in order to be detached from things and to live as simple as possible, to be a follower of Jesus. Nothing is compelling me. So I have to be sincere and honest. Well, there may be some insincere fellows also who will join, and then later on they get caught up with, they see a lot of material things, they see there is a lot of money, and they see others dressing and putting up all expensive things. Then they get carried away. Then they also start buying those things.
So how do you filter that out? How does the structure filter that out? I mean, are they taught? Are they educated? Are they checked?
Yeah, there is some checks and balances.
But overall, I'll see overall, as a Hindu, as a North Indian who lives in Meerut, uh, as I see St. Mary's, let's just take St. Mary's for example. I see thousands of students
Yeah.
learning there, being important after learning, going off to explore their life, and they become an important part of society. We have many alumni, and the Petrick's brother have around, I guess, 20 something schools in India.
Yeah, we are about, yes, about that.
20 something schools. That is amazing, sir. So you were in St. George for a lot of time.
Yeah.
Then you went to.
Then from Missouri, I went to Delhi. I was there in 73 for 1 year. Then I went back to Missouri.
Okay.
And I was there for maybe 4 or 5 years. Then, see, I was very useful in Missouri because I was, unlike some other brothers, I was talented in football, hockey, cricket. So I was fully involved with the boys, with the students. So they found me very useful in a boarding school. A day school, they felt some other brother who wasn't as talented in this line. There's no need for there were other brothers also there. They were maybe teaching a few classes, but they were not so involved as I was involved. So then after a few years, they transfer you to some other school.
So I have met one of the greatest person in my life who played a phenomenal role in what I am today. He was brother George P.U.
George P.U. was here for a short while.
Yep.
He was a musician.
Yep. He was a musician, but mostly he was the vice principal of the school.
Yeah, but
Believe me.
but I don't know if he didn't teach anything except that he was a musician.
I guess
He played musician.
Maybe he
He
taught
was
something in the lower
student
classes.
friendly.
He was
Very student friendly.
He is very. Basically, everyone who would be hearing this or watching this, he would, if he's a Marian, and if he was lucky enough to come under Brother George, that guy literally is the best human ever. I mean, there are so many incidents where he personally, he used to have a personal relationship with the students. Anyone can come up to him and talk about his life, and he'll teach you many things. He is such an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And
So he was a simple chap, but he's now in Benaguri.
Benagori.
He's there in school, St. James School. But the only problem with him is in a boarding school where you require discipline.
That was something that Brother George didn't
Where
excelled
you,
in,
where
I
you
guess.
require discipline, orderliness, punctuality, and these things. Brother George was
He was very student friendly.
he was too much. And in St. George's, he was there with me for a few years later on. He sometimes he can be his way of dealing things, and students were happy, but the management was not happy because he's discipline wise, you see.
And we need discipline.
Yeah. And in a school, boarding school especially, where you have to have punctuality, discipline, orderliness, and timings. You have to follow timings. With Brother George, he's
He's quite lenient. He's quite lenient. I get
too
that.
lenient.
Well,
but otherwise, he's a good person. He's a sincere person,
Yep.
and he loves the children, and he likes to do gardening, and he's a bit of a musician.
Yep.
You see,
He is.
but he's not a teacher. And then he went to Pune. He was in Pune for a few years as a principal of the school. I don't know how he managed as a principal, but he was a principal. Now he's in Benaguri for quite a few years. He was here in Meerut for 1 or 2 years.
More than that, actually.
1 or
More
2
than
years.
1 or 2 years.
I think, about 2-3 years.
2-3 years, something like that.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Anyways, we need discipline in our lives.
Yes.
Today we see the education system. We are wholly based on STEM education. Science, and we are taught about science and language and this and that. And moral sciences or religion,
Yeah.
in that case,
That's
we're
true.
taught less about those. Not that much. Not how much there should be,
See,
especially in the early ages.
See, the thing is, in our schools, even though it is run by Christians, we don't, we cannot teach the students about Christianity. But Christian values.
That we can teach.
Yes, Christian values. We are supposed to run our schools based on Christian values, like love your neighbor, everybody is equal, and
Then we are taught, especially me. I'm a student, so I was taught discipline in many different ways, and we used to have moral sciences. It was the first period of the day. And
yes,
first
that was the
class of
first
day.
class. It may have been half an hour, value education. They were calling it moral science. Now they changed the term value education.
Value education.
Yeah, values. So values, principles, and now I think they have it twice a week.
Twice a week.
They have reduced it
No,
twice
Why is it getting
a week
reduced?
because there are so many subjects. You see,
That is
more
the
subjects,
problem, right?
more subjects have come in, and the syllabuses are become vast. So you can't afford to have this model science.
Don't you think that there's a problem there? I mean, what
And
are the things, like, let's just take the basic things, like basic in science and basic in mathematics and basic in English and basic in language, and we take all those things.
Yeah.
That should be a constant. Let's take the basics. But we should have a value education system too. That is so important. We should be taught philosophy, that isn't taught. We should be taught about the history, that isn't taught as much as it should be.
History of what?
History of basically everything. Like, we aren't taught about, let's just take the 20th century for example.
Yeah, but those things come later, no?
That comes later.
Later,
but
maybe in
that
class
too,
9 or
like,
10.
Like in class 9, then in class 10.
And philosophy and all as you go up higher. But at school level,
At least a
you
basic.
you want basic things, more basic things.
More basic.
Philosophy and all.
This is the basic of philosophy.
what-
Like it should be taught that we should have value systems.
Yeah, values. That is why they are being taught this value education, where and also now people have brought out different books where giving you all the basics of all the religions. Like a student should have the correct knowledge, basic knowledge of Hinduism, basic knowledge of Christianity,
and
basic knowledge
Islam.
of Sikhism, Islam, and all. There are books now meant for different classes where they are learning all the basic tenets of various religions.
So you as a person, if you ever get the chance to change one thing about the world, like just take one thing. If you want to just change the fabric of the society wholly in one thing, just one particular matter or one particular manner, what would that be?
Well, this you can tell people about Christianity, but don't
Force them.
don't bring them into your organized religion. Now, if you go to Varanasi, there are some Catholic priests who have got a church built like a Hindu temple.
Okay.
And
Really?
yeah,
The
and
name of that? Do you remember the name of that?
they're called IMS Fathers, Indian Missionary Society.
Okay.
Indian Missionary Society, where the priests are dressed like sadhus only, the same kavi color, and
So there is a symbiosis basically between the Christian faith and the Hindu faith.
and there they only teach about Jesus's teachings, and then they have bhajans and they sing bhajans, and they just pray. So a lot of Hindus also come there.
It's amazing.
See, Hindus also come there.
We should have that
So,
symbiosis.
yeah.
So basically you're saying that we should love thy neighbor.
Yeah. Love
Basically
that-
that's
yes,
what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah.
No matter what
And,
or who that neighbor is.
This organized religion is what is doing a lot of harm.
Yup, exactly.
And you say, now I'm trying to, as a Christian, to try and go and preach about Jesus to somebody. I tell them by my good actions and by loving them and by serving them and being available to them, helping them in any way I can.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, you see.
That's
but
too a big part of this.
not telling them you must come to church. No, you live basically like even Mahatma Gandhi, for example, he believed in Jesus and he was following Jesus' teaching. Love thy neighbor and do good to your others. So, if we can somehow change, I believe quite a lot in Kushwant Singh, who says all these religious things should all be kept in your house and it should be within your four walls. You should not go out onto the road. These processions and Hindu processions and Christian processions all should be within your house. Pray to your God.
In India, the Hindu positions are made into a political debate. That's what is happening right now, as I see it. Hinduism, we don't have that kind of a structure that Christianity has. We have great mythological stories. We have the Ramayana, we have the Mahabharata, we have the Bhagavad Gita, which was, I think, one of the oldest texts
Yes.
in Asian Homo sapien history. But we don't have that kind of structure, and maybe that is something we can learn from Christianity. And basically, if someone is hearing this, he has heard about your life, and basically I'll interview some other brothers, and maybe hopefully, let's fingers crossed. Let's say he's a Christian. He's not a Christian, because he's a Christian. That's just one thing. Let's say he's not a Christian, but he wants to explore that part of his life where he would take these 3 vows and join the brotherhood, join the faith, become a Christian. What would be the steps that he or she would have to take?
See, the first thing is, what is binding us now, here now in St. Mary's. Okay, I am an Anglo-Indian. My outlook is different as an Anglo-Indian. Then there's a Tamil, brother Edward now. He's a Tamil. Then there's brother Brito, or last year was brother Dennis. He's from Kerala. We are all from different backgrounds. What is really binding us is that faith in Jesus Christ.
Faith in the religion.
Faith in Jesus Christ. And because of that, we are able to live together. That is what is binding us. Okay. So if a person does not have that same belief, and the reason why we have all come together is to follow Jesus and to live this disciplined life and take these 3 vows and live together in peace. We may have differences, we may differ, we may have our own problems, but still we try our best to live together and to serve. I may go to another community where there may be somebody else from some other part of India, Bihari or somebody, but I consider him also a brother. He's a Christian.
Because of the faith.
Because of the faith.
That is integrated in your system. That is really important. Faith.
So that faith, you see. So if you're a Hindu and you come, you won't be able to join and live us, because suddenly when you find something that you don't like, to give that up and to for us, it's all. This is what is binding us.
The Hindus have really different value structures than the Christians. As a psychoanalyst, as I've read and I've researched about it a lot, the Hindus have different value structures. We believe in karma. We don't believe in sacrifice that much. That much. Like as compared to Christianity, we believe in karma. Like do good and good will happen to you. But in Christianity, is like you should sacrifice yourself for others. That's what Jesus did, right? And that is amazing. You know, these religions took thousands of years to form. These mythological stories, even if they are stories, that doesn't matter. These took thousands of years to form. And it integrated into a structure that evolved without brains. You know, we evolved after every generation. And these structures evolved with us. And it is so important, I guess, to have these structures. And people are missing that. And I look to you as my teacher. I really wish, you know, the best for you. And I just hope that through this podcast, through this thing, others can learn what I have learned. So that is that. So the thing is that if someone wants to become a brother or a sister, they have to become a Christian. Study study, you know, the teaching of Jesus. And after that, you know, just leave that up to the structure, the society that the Christians have already formed. The society has already formed.
Yeah.
That is amazing, sir. So there's just one last thing, and we'll close up after that. Many of my experienced friends were asking if they can come in the evening and play football with you. I mean, most of my experienced friends asked me, after this whole COVID things blows over, when would you be available to play with us? Football, or cricket, or hockey, or whatever you like. I mean, we should have that kind of experience.
Now I don't play very much. Now I mainly supervise and I coach. I can train the boys and I can make them play and I can supervise. I'm a qualified referee in football, hockey, and cricket umpire. I can train the boys, make them play, and supervise them. But playing myself, I had a slip disc surgery. Slip disc surgery. I underwent surgery in the lumbar area, and then I also had a minor orthoscopic on the right knee. I twisted badly playing football. So I don't play now, but I supervise.
But still, anyone wants to come to you and just take your blessings.
But in Dehradun, in St. Joseph's Academy, in the evenings, the ex-students, a lot of ex-students are living around. They come and they play. I don't know here.
Yeah, that is missing in our school.
Why they are not allowed.
I don't know.
You must come and ask the principal. I'm not the principal or anything here. I'll be going off to the other school.
St.
Patrick's. When they reopen. We are staying here. When they reopen, I'll go there. And I will be basically living there, and I will be handling those students.
Okay.
But here, the old boys, you'll have to talk to Brother Edward and Brother Brito. Two people. Brother Brito is a community leader and Brother Edward is the principal.
Okay. Brother Edward is the tall one, right?
He's a big tall man, yes.
Yeah. I've met him.
You've already seen him. Yeah.
Yes. He was here when I was a kid.
He was here a few years ago.
He was
when Brother Anthony was principal. Anthony Joseph.
He was the vice principal. Brother Edward was the vice principal back then.
Yeah.
Yes, I have met him quite a few more times.
Get his permission. And if you have about 10-15 boys, you are eager.
Easily.
If you are eager to play, you can come there and play basketball. They will give you some timings. You'll tell them, tell them so-and-so timing you'd like to come there, and you'll play and you'll go away. You're not going to do any harm or destroy anything. That is not your reason.
No, most of us come from a good background, like doctors or engineers.
And you only want to play. But in St. Joseph's Academy, boys are playing. I have seen them coming. In Mount St. Mary's, hardly anybody comes. So we allow these children from the village, these students, small children, come and they play, and then some teachers are appointed to supervise them, some local teachers. But here I have never seen old boys coming and playing.
No. That was something missing right on from the time when Brother Babu worked.
Now, I don't know why some of these brothers are. I always like to meet old boys, and if the old boys are living around and they want to come and play and use your flat, after all, the flat is meant for playing. Basketball court is meant for playing
basketball.
They're not going to come here and do any harm. They're coming to enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
And those who are living around, they want a nice place.
And every one of them have spent 12 years of their life, the most important time of their life when they were kids, as a student there.
So what you go through the alumni, ask Shah, and
I'll ask Shah, sir.
Discuss that with the principal. The principal.
I think we should form a community, because in St. Mary's it is missing. We have X-Mine everything, but we aren't connected that much. How much?
See, just come there for a meeting occasionally, once a year.
There should be something once a week kind of event, sports and this or
yes,
that,
why not?
something like that. We can arrange that quite easily. It doesn't take that much effort or time. So we'll see to that. Anyways, brother, thank you so much for doing this.
Please do find out and make use of it.
Yeah,
the ground is meant there. If the present boys are not coming to play, you all can go and play on Saturday, Sundays. Why not?
Why not? Why not?
Certainly.
Anyways, thank you so much for doing this. It's time already. It's 12. It's way past 12:30.
Yes, I'll make a move. You can
Thank you so much.
drop me.
Any last thing that you want to say?
No,
to
no.
the
Very
listeners?
nice. It's been a nice experience to come here and chat with you about so many things. Anyway, we've gone off on different topics, but nice to choose one topic and discuss.
Yeah,
about
we can do that
Yeah.
anytime you want.
Yeah.
If you have time, just call me up
Yes.
and we'll fix up something.
Yes, during this time, COVID time,
Yeah.
there is time.
There's time, right? So we can do that
Yeah.
whenever you want, whenever you feel like talking about something.
Okay, right.
And
Wonderful.
just putting that message out.
Wonderful, yes, wonderful it is.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
this
you.
is Timewrap
Yeah.
and
Thank you very much, Path. Yeah.
thanks.